There is a roadmap given in when we enter into an organization or a company. There is a roadmap for growth that is given. That motivates everyone to put in effort. If the roadmap is not there, then forever you are doing something. Where are you heading? That's not clear. That is not motivating. So that's where it's important to understand the process behind the outcome, not just the outcome. Outcome as when we look at ekagrata or basically manasa ornilaipadutharu or what is it called? Making the mind one-pointed. Now that seems like an outcome, but what is the process that leads to that outcome? That is what we are interested in. That makes it meaningful, because we know, okay, I do this, I reach there. So that's how it becomes very important.
In fact, in the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna asks Krishna, saying that, controlling or stopping the wind seems to be easier than actually stopping the mind. So what do I do?
So this is a classic question.
So Krishna says that Abhyasa and Vairagya, these are two ways by which the mind can be controlled. Abhyasa is practice and Vairagya is detachment.
And Abhyasa means enthusiastic practice. And enthusiasm is also a process. We don't automatically start with enthusiasm. What we do leads to enthusiasm, which leads to more enthusiasm, which leads to better practice. Like that, no? It's a co-evolutionary process. It's not a static thing. It's either this or that. That's why we need to have a evolutionary perspective, not an outcome-based perspective. If it's an outcome-based perspective, then we are here, the outcome is there, there is nothing to bridge the gap. Evolutionary perspective means, we have milestones leading to that outcome, and that outcome leading to further outcomes. So that's the evolutionary perspective, where it is participatory in nature. You do things which lead to those milestones, and that reinforces your confidence in the process itself. That generates enthusiasm, right? Outcomes or milestones generate enthusiasm, which generate further participation. So that's how we work towards enhancing our participation in making the mind one-pointed. What is the use of making the mind one-pointed? That's also there. So that's where we need to invest in understanding the benefits of one-pointedness. One-pointedness means, ekagrata, attention, or awareness. What is the use of awareness? What do you think are the uses of awareness? Why should we be aware?
Only when we are aware we can do the next step, right? If we don't even know what's happening, then we want to know what.
Yeah. So only with awareness we will not be lost. Otherwise the next step is not visible. That's a practical use case of awareness.
Also, our decision making will be better.
Decision making will be better. We are able to
Holistic decision making. We know what is what, and then make better decisions.
better decisions which affect our lives.
Also, I think it makes life more beautiful, like just knowing, feeling things deeply.
Feeling things deeply. Yeah.
It feels good.
It feels more complete.
Yeah,
It feels better. It feels good. Yes.
More involvement in what
More involvement in what we are doing.
which basically leads to this.
Better feeling. Then we experience joy. Otherwise, we have missed out on the fun. We want to have fun, but we are unaware, and hence we have missed out on the fun also. We don't enjoy.
Oh yeah, you were saying in the morning, no? Like if you like to live life completely, you have to be involved. You were saying something on those lines. And then if you're not involved, then you miss out on the experience of living completely. That's the line that I was trying to remember.
Yeah.
And I forgot.
And that is very important, because feeling that completeness is liberating. Otherwise, forever you are stuck in a cycle, because you feel incomplete. Let's say you are reading a book. We all have done that as part of schooling. We read books. If someone quizzes us, we feel incomplete. And hence, what do? We have to go back to the book. Because we focus on the book, partially, it's only partial involvement, partial focus. Part of the time, it's like mind is wandering. Even in meetings, the mind keeps wandering.
No, why are you ask anybody, right? You can only focus on the meeting for 15-20 minutes. After that, you
That's a lot.
die. Because this is the reason why I emphasize folks in my team to not add more than 3 lines in a slide. Otherwise, folks will not listen.
What I will do is my mind will completely wandering. After thank you guys, please whatever you talked, I just put in the meeting notes. I will look into it.
Now, anyhow, we have AI assistants taking notes, and hence there is no need to pay attention.
More need to.
No. So, what is the incentive to be aware? That is very, very important to invest in because it's not automatic. You need to look at it as worthwhile. Otherwise, why would you invest in it? Because there's no use to it. So you will need to build up a scenario that will allow for enthusiastic participation. And enthusiastic participation means it's not 0 or 1. It's like evolutionary. As you generate more enthusiasm, the more you will participate. That will generate more enthusiasm. That will help you participate more. It's like that. For example, when you start with a subject matter, initially you don't generate enthusiasm because it's like new. First time, let's say you start studying science. It is new content, and hence it will be like someone else who is enthusiastic will have to prod you, push you. Generally, parents push us. In the system, maybe teachers push us. Gradually, as more and more content you absorb, you have started getting more data, which anchors your awareness. Awareness works like this. It's a flow, and flow means multiple streams flowing together. When we trek in the Himalayas, you will find Ma Ganga is a flow. But that flow, everyone who treks understands that there will be so many small streams that add to the flow. Like that, it's important to understand our attention or awareness is to do streams of flow that add to the coherent or consolidated flow. It's not directly consolidated flow. But generally, because of a lack of understanding of this, we will expect a consolidated flow, which we call ekagrata or awareness or attention. We expect it to be like a full flow, 0 or 1. You cannot jump like that. You'll need to build the flow, and that is through streams that flow from multiple directions, but enhancing this flow.
But how do you recognize that those flows are towards the larger awareness?
Yeah, that is where the intent. You will need to have a larger principle which accommodates individual streams of flow. If you are myopic in vision, there will be no way to accommodate that, and hence it will be like disparate flows, not adding to the central flow. Right? This happens, you don't see a point in doing something. For example, that's where Purushartha, Dharma, Artha, Kama matter so much. I like repeating this story. We were traveling the Himalayas and there was a traffic jam because of a landslide. And I was observing various people doing various things. Many were frustrated, we were stuck because it was also uncertain when it would get clear. There was an old lady apparently employed by the government to break stones, to clear off the debris, amongst others. Something impressed me in her. So I approached her and asked her, "Maji, आप कहाँ से हैं?" "यहीं पास गांव से हूँ." "आप कब से ही करती आ रही हैं?" "बचपन से करती आ रही हैं." "ये क्यों करती है?"
You have to translate.
Yeah, mother, where are you from? I'm from a nearby village. "How long have you been doing this?" From childhood. "Why are you doing this?" "ये क्यों करती है?" She looked at me, simply said, "ताकि आप घर पहुँचे, खुशी रहें." He directly said, you should be happy back home. So the purpose for which she's doing it is linked to my benefit, who she does not know, who most probably she will not meet again. Her purpose, she could have defined it in terms of, for example, why are you disturbing me? Don't irritate me. She could have said that. She did not respond that way. She could have said, no, these government people, government wale tang karte hain, they impose, and hence I have no other go. See, many people feel imposed upon by your boss, by your spouses, by children feel imposed upon by their parents, or she could have had that view. She did not have that view. She could have had a view where, I have my grandchildren, I need to earn for them, anyhow I will need to do this, only through this I can earn. She did not choose to say that. What did she choose to say? You should be happy. And hence I am doing this. Anyhow, she will get a salary, through which it's taken care of.
Regardless of why she is doing it.
Anyhow, that's the system. And hence the intent that we apply, we are free on that count. We can choose to see whatever we choose to see. It could be the same work, but each person's experience is governed by the intent. How do you experience? It's the same reality, but each one of us goes through unique experiences. How? Because of the intent. If the intent is broad, then it accommodates multiple streams. In the intent being, otherwise, would she even do this willingly? There would be no enthusiasm. It's like, there will be so much struggle, pain, suffering, victimization, so on. Why? Because the intent is herself, her own benefit. What is so great in breaking stones? Could be the question. I could be doing, you people are in the bus, you are all enjoying, you are all rich, I am suffering, I am poor. That could be the view. Feeling victimized. No, she was very clear. If I do this, you will get benefited. So, anybody can apply this. And what does it do? It actually does magic. It allows for ekagrata. This is called, in sadhana chatushtaya. For sadhana, there are 4 important principles or qualities that we invest in. One is called viveka, vairagya, shat sampati, and mumukshutva. Okay. In shat sampati, 6 important qualities. One of the qualities is uparama or uparati. That means involvement in your work. Being firm in your swadharma. So what is your functional role? Enthusiastically participating in your functional role so that it's not incomplete. This is an important quality for sadhana. Otherwise you will see, you will be neither here nor there. Always there will be that tug of war. I should be meditating but I am doing this. It can happen even in an ashram. I came here for meditation. Why should I do seva? So we introduce meditation also as seva only. You do pranayama, what are you doing? Guru seva. You are doing pranayama, you are actually doing Guru seva. You are cooking and serving people, what are you doing? Guru seva. See, that leads to a coherent flow. Otherwise, in your vision, it is disparate. This is separate, that is separate, this is separate, that is separate, and you are struggling for motivation. Why should I do this? That's not clear to you. That's where essential sadhana is working on the intent. Growing the intent. It's not about enhancing the output. It's about growing the intent. Then naturally output gets enhanced. Because it is participatory in nature. When we say karma, it is participation. Right? What is meant by activity? It's basically participation. Enhanced participation is dharma. So what will enable you to do that? And hence the use cases should be pretty clear. In terms of the benefit that you receive. That gradually then you will see multiple streams, everything flowing in that direction, which leads to a coherent vision, which is called ekagrata. Then meditation is enhanced. Otherwise we try to use, it's like patchwork. I have hutch. You take a pill that makes the hutch go away.
The symptoms.
Yeah, symptomatic treatment. Like that, if we approach meditation, then it's like patchy. Sometimes you'll get it, sometimes you'll not get it because you have not worked on the flow. It's more like patchwork mechanism. If you approach sadhana or let's say, many of us tend to approach it initially at least in that kind of a manner, where we are not looking at a coherence in our life process. We are more looking at a patchwork mechanism. I have this problem, I need a hutch medicine. Meditation, hutch, meditation, apply meditation. No. We want direct application of meditation as a patchwork mechanism or as a symptomatic treatment. That is very tough to achieve. You need a lot of work before you actually arrive there. People have put in a lot of effort to arrive at that medicine, which makes your hutch go away. Right? Only then it becomes objective. it's easier to actually invest in a holistic paradigm where whatever you're doing, you don't need to change it, but you grow your intent. As you grow your intent, then you will start seeing that meditation also adds to the overall life process, not as a standalone process. Pranayama adds to it, not as a standalone process. What are you involved in? Actually, a holistic process in which these are also dimensions that you add on. Then you will have definite enthusiasm in approaching it because it's adding to a larger flow. That is ekagrata. Gradually, that will have impact on all aspects of life, including meditation. Not just this. This cut off from everything else, not in an isolated manner. Generally, that's why in sadhana, in spiritual sadhana, we don't approach it in an isolated, standalone, standalone manner. We don't do it that way.
So even resolution at the workplace, resolution in the family, all these actually contribute to that ekagrata in meditation. Otherwise, if one of these dimensions is not fulfilled or something still needs to be taken care, then we always have the urge to think about it or break it and then go attend to so many of these things.
See, this point I didn't get clear. You said the dharana, right? We're talking about single pointedness. I'm doing the yoga for 10 years, but the single pointedness is not coming at all. It's somewhere a distance place. It is coming some few moments when I'm doing a sadhana, shakti chana kriya or something. It stays there. Once somebody asks something, it goes away.
Yeah.
The stillness goes away immediately. But you said previously something. There is a stage, right? How do you the single pointedness? If you just grow the intent for others' well-being, will it come automatically? That's what you're saying.
So we are not looking at it automatically at all. It's like growing the
What
intent.
adds up to that phenomena where you actually develop that ekagrata? There are multiple things. It's like you try to control your mind anyway. It is like as he said, waterbed. You press here, this will come out. Yeah. You press here, this will come out. So many things have to be resolved in order for one to experience that ekagrata. For example, in the Yoga Sutra, Maharishi Patanjali talks of 9 different techniques or aspects of it to quieten the mind. One thing he says is Eka Tattva Abhyasaha. He says take up one philosophy or one thought process and
Definitely
pursue
not
it.
Nihilism. No.
Pursue it. Pursue it with full involvement. Automatically, your entire chitta, your entire life priority will start revolving around that aspect.
Example.
So that's where, for example, it's like if we grow a plant by pulling it. Is that effort?
Yes.
It is effort.
It is effort. Likewise, controlling the mind. Control. Is that effort? It is effort. But it's
Ineffective.
lot of effort, but not effective. Will the plant grow when you pull it from the top?
It will not grow.
But your expectation is that it should grow.
And he also
And you are
says-
doing everything in your capacity to make it grow. But still, will it work?
So he also talks about other aspects where he says Vitaraga Vishayam Va Chittam. So when we actually focus on someone who has the necessary vairagya, we also imbibe that vairagya. So it could be our Ishta Devata or Guru. When we focus on them, we imbibe part of the vairagya. And he also says Prachardhana Vidharanabhyam Va Pranasya. Focusing on retention of the breath and exhalation of the breath actually quietens the mind. So that is one reason why we do pranayama with an extended exhalation. So the next time you feel your mind is very agitated, like continuously chattering, then you just breathe to a count, and when you do an extended exhalation with a small count of holding the breath, not too much, then you will see that automatically your mind will come to some kind of a resolution. And then when there is no use, when you yourself perceive no use for that particular thought, it will eventually go. They say Trayambakam Yajamahe, right? So just as a way the cucumber, when it is ripe, it automatically detaches from the creeper or climber or whatever. Until then it holds on. You try to remove it, it's going to be a painful process. But when it is ripe, when it job is done, it automatically falls. So when
Like that even
we
Mrityu.
perceive no need for that thought, it automatically fades away. And focusing on the positive things, punya things, positive things, associating with people who have positive thoughts. He says, Maitri Karuna Mudito. Maitri with people, friendship with people who are happy. Karuna, compassion for people who are in need. And your indifference to certain, what you can say, anidhi in the society. Because when you're doing your sadhana, when you're quietening your mind, that is not the time for you to pursue activism, trying to change the society. You do your sadhana, later on you can take care of it.
Then you will get the bala.
Then what happens is you're associating with good people. Now you feel you have taken care of the people in need. At that time, your mind automatically comes to some kind of a resolution, which helps you to focus on what is needed. So that way, elimination of thoughts is not like a straightforward process, but the food, the routine, in the situation around us, like Adi Daivika, Adi Bhautika, Adhyatmika, everything has to come in place in order for that one, resolution to happen.
In modern scientific terms, this is called emergent principle. Complex situations, there are emergent principles. For example, democracy. You vote. Can you expect that candidate to win because you voted?
Majority.
Or can you say that your vote does not matter?
No.
You cannot say either.
Sometimes.
So these are
This is why he's sitting next to you.
So you can see these are complex systems. Emergent principles apply. So just one thing you cannot directly say establish causation of correlation. Similarly, meditation, no, it's a coherent mechanism. That's where, as she beautifully described, one thing is, for example, Vitaraga Vishayam Vastachittam. That means, associating with people who have detachment, who have vairagya. That association itself will create that in you. Similarly, prachadhana vidharanabhyam va pranasya, pranayama. That's a technique. This is a different thing. Ahara, vihara, mita ahara, mita vihara. Moderation in food and enjoyment, entertainment or activities. Like that, different, from different angles you pursue it, it automatically grows in depth. That is the whole idea of coherence. So, in that, in the parampara, we take one thing to be of exceptional value, and that is association with the Guru. That's called satsanga, or association with the Guru. Because a Guru means it's so dense that it anchors. It's like, for example, because of the Gurutva of the sun, the earth revolves around the sun. And that's a natural anchoring, natural coherence for the awareness. We say Guru Seva. This discussion for us in our mind, how do we view it? Guru Seva. It is not like a retreat, this, that, all that practical planning goes on. But how do we view it? The intent is very clear for us.
Okay, that's why Sadhguru also says when he constructed the Dhyan language, it's not for me, it's not for you, it's for my Guru.
I cannot talk about that because I don't know his intent.
Okay.
But it sounds valid. But it's a very simple process. That's why in the parampara, either Guru or Ishta Devata, these are considered very critical in the Yoga parampara, in the Siddha parampara. It cannot, it is not done without a Guru or a Ishta Devata because you will have no anchoring then. Then it's a different, consequence. Why would you need to participate in life? Because there is no anchoring. No? So we anchor ourselves and that becomes the most predominant. Then everything is around that. So even pranayama, meditation or ahara, nothing is like a struggle. It's like a step by step. You are getting closer and closer to the Guru, but it's like an approximation algorithm. Limit tends to, let's say, infinity. Will it ever reach infinity or will it ever reach zero? That is not the idea at all. It's an infinite approximation series. That's how we view it. So we tend to get closer and closer and closer and closer, and that's what we want. And what restricts our movement in that direction? Where is the direction? It's anchoring to the Guru, which is not just without, who gets reflected within because the mind is anchored in that. See, what we see is what we see within. So same thing gets reflected within, and hence you are constantly optimizing to move in that direction. So every step becomes coherent. Naturally, that which is not coherent is eliminated. It's like approximation algorithm. Naturally, it swings from this value to this value to this value. Naturally, the swinging will gradually start converging. So it's like a convergence series. The divergence naturally gets eliminated in this process, but without any so much of suffering or effort. Now, generally, meditation is pure suffering. I have spent 30 years. We have interacted with so many people in Himalayas and so on, many sadhus and so on. They would have spent 60 years there, still suffer. They would be great people, by the way. No, we are not talking of normal, great accomplishments. Let's say, for example, you have a senior developer who has invested 40 years in programming, who is an expert at programming. But do they get it? Need not be. So just domain expertise does not mean they got it. You have realization, right? Just siddhis do not mean you have realization. So that's why we anchor ourselves in a very practical philosophy. It's not just theoretical. You can study all the books, you can do all kinds of tapasya. Still, you don't need to have that exact orientation. That's why we have the guru. Practically, it's a very practical philosophy. Ishta Devata and Guru. So that's why Mata, Pita, Guru, Devam. It's like a very practical, coherent, let's say, milestones to expect for in life. But you have to be ready for the Guru. It's like at a school level or at the bachelor's level or at the master level. Do you have a guide?
No.
Only
PhD level.
Only the PhD. Yeah.
It's mass education. Only if you are aspiring for a PhD, you need a guide. So it's to do with working on your aspiration as well. Will everyone aspire for a PhD? How many PhDs do we have here? Oh, okay. You can imagine, That does not mean we are not living our lives. We are okay with our lives. Just that not everyone aspires for a guru. Because that means, it's like a PhD, your intent is, you build it up. You have worked in that direction and then you are ready for that process. Because the amount of focus will be very high. So that means essential tyaga. You are willing to give up what is not necessary in that path. But you have worked to that level. So it's not suffering. It's not like, I have sacrificed everything. At PhD level, you sacrifice everything, basically. Others.
In the 17th and 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Shri Krishna talks about sattva, rajas and tamas from different dimensions. So sattva is a principle of an easy flow, a certain pleasantness. Rajas is like lot of effort, dynamism, vibrance and sometimes even aggression. And tamas is to do with dullness, lethargy and all that. So when we do things which are in our natural flow, then they don't leave any effort, leave any impression of us having done that. It looks almost like net work is equal to zero. So at that time, those things don't bother us actually. Those things don't crop up in our meditation or whatever it is, because we would have just done it with the flow. But where we put in that effort, that rajasic effort, those are the things that sort of stick out. So if we are either able to develop the skill to perfect some of these dimensions which can again be brought into the flow, or let go of things which stick out too much, then the meditative process will actually be a much smoother one. Otherwise, these things will definitely stick out, whether we are trying to manage a family situation or a workplace situation or some situation in our own career path, education or our own health for that matter. Those things will definitely stick out in our meditation. So if some part of it can be let go momentarily or permanently or whatever it is, then the meditation process becomes very smooth. Otherwise, these two things do impact